the bathroom.
My wife is peeing.
She's peeing in the bathroom. My wife. I can say that now.
Because
I
that's
have a
kinda-
wife, and she is peeing in the bathroom.
That's wild. It
I
is
know,
wild
isn't it
to
crazy?
think about.
It's wild to say, dude.
Are we like going? Are we recording?
Yeah, we're
We're doing the episode.
I'm just gonna.
Do you think like what do you feel has changed the most since you got married?
Wow.
Anything or no?
Big hitter question.
Well,
to
it's only
start
been
this.
a week and a half.
It's been a week and a half. The biggest thing that has changed. It's funny that you asked that because I've actually talked about this like twice so far.
Today.
The day that I proposed and the day that we got married, I felt these two like overwhelming feelings. One is the sort of like this feeling of stepping up to the plate. This feeling of like immense of like public acceptance of immense responsibility.
Hey.
Just talking about you. Come say hello.
Say hey. You can say hi.
To the camera.
No, you're gonna start over.
No, we're not. This is in.
We're talking about you right now.
This is staying in.
Come into the little frame.
I don't
Come in.
like it.
Oh, you look fantastic.
You're fine. Come on.
You're my wife. Here, this is her.
That's who we're talking about.
We're talking about her.
Bye if I don't see you.
Bye, sir.
Love you.
Love you, babe.
So you've talked about this
Okay.
twice.
Talked
Stepping
about
up to
this
the
twice.
plate.
Yeah. So it's this like acceptance of the most responsibility I've ever taken on in my life.
Sure.
And it makes you feel all of a sudden like you have so much more respect for yourself, because when somebody commits their life to you publicly, then you have no choice but to finally accept for yourself that you are worth somebody committing their life to you. And then you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I not only am I that man to this person, but now I have the responsibility to be that man. So that I've been thinking a lot about. All right. I think it's closed.
That was the loudest it possibly could have been. It couldn't.
The one squeak was enough, but the 7 squeaks.
That's so fucking funny.
My wife.
Oh man. The missus.
The most amazing.
The old
most
ball and
amazing
chain.
woman. The old
Yeah.
ball and chain. And then the other thing that I've been thinking a lot about is, and I felt this when I proposed, and she said yes, and
Sure.
I felt this at the wedding,
Yeah.
is this like relief of fear. Because proposing was the single biggest decision I had ever made in my life, was the decision to propose to a single woman, and choose to ask this woman to like be with me.
Yeah.
Which is a daunting feeling for any man, I'm sure, or anyone who's doing the proposing. And then at the wedding, I felt it again, where it's like this, oh, if I can make a decision like this that is going to affect the rest of my life, and I have the balls to make it, then I can make any decision in the rest of my life. Like nothing else feels scary now because I've made.
So I'm hearing that it gave you like newfound confidence.
Yeah. It's like
cool.
it's like my sense of self grew a few.
I don't know if I've ever
sizes, you know?
heard it like put that way, but that's obviously I see where you're getting at. But usually, I don't know. Like I feel like you ask that question, usually people say something of they either kind of brush it off or they just kind of be like, yeah, it's just so nice to just like be committed to my person. But it's really cool that like having a wife is like giving you this new perspective and this new confidence on yourself. It's really cool.
It's weird. It's like a strange thing because it feels like simultaneously very exciting, and like I feel emboldened and I feel ripe and like ready to take on new things in my life, but I also feel like ripe.
Ripe is
Did I get
crazy.
you? So ripe, so pure. And I also feel like a summer peach. But I also feel like silly for having not recognized this thing in me before this moment. Like, because nothing has changed. Like we've been together for 9 years. We've been in this relationship a long
Yeah,
time.
like functionally, your
committed.
day to day is the same.
I'm no different than I was the
Yeah.
day before as a person, but now I believe this thing about myself that I didn't believe the day before, and I could at any time have figured that out on my own and like
Yeah.
accepted that I am worthy of this level of self-respect or this level of commitment from a person and
Yeah.
from myself. But it took like a thing like this,
Yeah.
a ceremony,
Well, that's interesting because
to
you
make me
know,
believe it.
marriage has obviously changed so much in the last even like 50 years in this in the world, but obviously throughout time, like it used to be like a land purchase essentially. But you know, you got to imagine like somebody was getting married in the 60s that and like that couple got married. That was probably the first time they were ever living together, first time they ever had sex was with each other. You know, so I think it's cool to see that marriage is still teaching you something new about yourself without having it transform your like literal day-to-day existence.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's cool.
Well, I'm like a huge. It's weird because you know the concept of marriage in our generation and in our demographic, not the concept of it, but the value of it, has diminished a lot. Like most people living in urban centers, chasing the kinds of career paths that we've been chasing, believing the kind of ideologies and political, you know, stuff that we've been following and believing in, like they don't really value marriage traditionally as it has been in America.
Yeah. I mean, certainly not compared to like generations past.
Absolutely not. Even
Yeah.
like our parents or our grandparents, like
Yeah.
it's not what it once was culturally. And for some reason, and maybe because my parents are still together, and I grew up Catholic, so like for some reason, I found a lot of value in it. But I did not think I was going to get married for like most of my late teens and early 20s. Like,
Yeah.
I never thought about it. I didn't want to. I thought it was like a stupid contract with the government that like I'm doing that is no bearing on my relationship with another person. Like all of the things that people say. And then there's like a thing about it. And again, no flack if you or anyone still like feels that way. But then there's this thing about it that is like this public declaration of vows in front of all of your loved ones, to be witness to this promise that you make to somebody, and the responsibility to hold up that promise for like, you know, it's a contract in perpetuity.
Yeah, for forever. Yeah.
So yeah, for forever. Well, till death.
No, forever.
But yeah, that there's something poetic about it that I do think plays a huge role in why those ideas of like self-confidence have changed in you know, in the last 2 weeks.
Fuck yeah.
What do you think about marriage?
This just becomes a relationship podcast.
I know.
So
Literally. Yeah, guys, welcome to Art is Not Sacred. Has nothing to do with marriage and relationships, but also at the same time, everything to do with it.
Everything has everything to do with everything.
Everything is art. I started this podcast a while back and have been out, in and out of it as planning a wedding for the last year. It's really kind of fallen
going
by the
to
wayside.
weddings, getting married.
Lots of stuff has been going on. But the premise initially was that I'm a huge believer that art has sort of been commodified, and people put it on this pedestal where it's meant to be like ogled and praised, and in doing that, it kind of separates you from art as a culture and as a community. And I don't think art is supposed to be that. It's not supposed to be sacred. It's supposed to be read like a notebook. It's supposed to be the scrawlings of a friend that is in need of communication. And if you put it on a pedestal, you can't see it that way. That's sort of how I viewed it. So I called it Art is Not Sacred. I have since had like 3 episodes of this podcast, and everyone has been like, that's stupid. But I will pose the question anyway, because that's how we started it. Ryan, what does Art is Not Sacred mean to you? And you know, do you agree or disagree?
What does art is not sacred mean to me? I'm trying to remember what I said last time.
Fuck last time.
Yeah, fuck last time.
Oh, also, yeah. Can
Yeah,
you
also-
tell them what
yeah,
happened
also,
last time?
Also, we tried this a couple months ago. Was it July? Yeah, it must have been like early July, late June or whatever. And we essentially just got too drunk to it wasn't coherent at the end, to say the least. So
We decided we had to
Come
do
back
a
and do it
take
again.
two, a second attempt at this because we had too much fun. We were too excited
it was a whiskey cast.
to hang out. Yeah, this is a beer.
Yeah, now it's just
a beer episode sponsored by Miller Lite.
Yeah, thank you, Miller
Hopefully.
Lite.
Thank you, Miller Lite.
We'll await your
They
check.
haven't sponsored us, but if you want to, I'm not Shane Gillis, but they already have. Bud Light's got him, so Miller Lite needs somebody.
You should try to get Shane on the pod.
Yeah, I wish.
Art is not sacred. I think what that means to me is that it's this idea that basically anybody could and is capable of being an artist in some shape or form, right? Like by definition, if you say something is sacred, it kind of like deifies it in this way where only people who are in a certain level or system or tier of society are capable of creating true art, right? Whether that be a painter, a filmmaker, a writer, so if you were to say art is sacred, like you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be an artist. And obviously I don't think that's true. I do think art can be sacred, but it's more about the idea of all art having value rather than the idea of art as something that is ontologically sacred, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did that make sense? I don't know if that made sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, art in itself is not something that is sacred, but the expression of it and the sharing of it is.
Yeah, like the creation of it is
Yeah.
it's a ritualistic, really like powerful thing.
Yeah.
But I think in today's society, there's a huge emphasis on institutional kind of everybody's waiting for an okay to share their art, right? You're a writer and you're looking to get published and you don't feel good about like just posting your poetry online. So you're like, I just need to get published, or whatever it is, right? I think I think art has been commodified. It's like exactly what you said, that these people are like gatekeepers and they have this kind of stamp that they can give to some art but not other art. And this art's sacred, but that art's not art, actually. And I think that's bullshit. So I kind of agree with you and disagree with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think that there's an aspect to art. The core of art, I think, is there's a sacredness to it. But like you said, who is the, who's on the board that determines what is and is not sacred? I mean, you look at religions and who have in some ways commodified spirituality, and you look at how they've organized it in a way where like you are a participant, but only at the will of whoever's above you, in the hierarchy, be it a priest or a pastor or a rabbi or whatever.
Yeah, and definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's art. Art to me is like you said, anyone can be an artist. And when people say like, oh, you can't paint a photorealistic painting, well then like you're not good at the thing. And it's like, well, no, I'm expressing a thing that you haven't expressed in this medium because I need to get it out in some way.
Yeah.
And if you can see it and feel anything, then it did its job. And half of it, to me, like most of the time, half of art is like, it's an exorcism for me of something that's like stuck inside that needs to come out. And I don't need somebody to love it or, ogle it or even see it sometimes for it to be like art to me. Although I would love to live my life as an artist. So like someone's going to have to see it and like it enough to pay me for it.
Yeah.
But therein lies the rub.
Sure.
But let's backtrack for 1 second because I realize now, as we are like 10 minutes into this, that we have yet to introduce you. So, Ryan, Odell, you are a very dear friend of mine, groomsman in my wedding, a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And a very talented artist, a very talented actor, writer, now producer.
Yeah. That was
And
wild.
tell us a little bit more about like just your journey as an artist, how you would define yourself as one, and then a little bit about what you've been doing lately.
Yeah, sure. Journey as an artist. I think so. I would primarily identify myself as an actor, even though that's definitely like the art form that I participate in the least. Right? Nice. That was beautiful.
Thanks.
But I did, when I was young, I but I say that I loved movies before I knew I loved acting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember being really young and having my grandfather show me Laurel and Hardy movies. Do you know what those are?
Mm-hmm.
Like, March of the Toy Soldiers and, whatever. Or no, actually, it's Abbott and Costello. Laurel and Hardy also, but Abbott and Costello meet like Dracula and all that. And I just remember watching those. And I was like, oh my God. And he also showed me The Godfather and Scarface and things I was way too young to be seeing. And so I remember really, looking back, I was obsessed with movies from a young age. And I didn't really realize I'd wanted to be an actor until probably, 7th, 8th grade. I went to a performing arts high school, went to a college to get my BFA in acting where I met Mickey. That guy right over there. And yeah, just been acting and doing stuff. And I think what I've been up to recently is I have had a like transformation in how I think about what being an actor is. Because I think my expectation was getting out of school that I'm going to graduate and I'll be going on all these auditions and the industry will be booming and I'll start small and I'll work my way up and I'll do all these things. And COVID happened and, a strike happened, and it's been, I think we as actors are in like an oversaturated market. There's so many people that want to be actors now. There's so many people that want to, that have this dream or whatever. And who knows what caused it? Maybe it was just COVID. Maybe people realized that, oh, hey, the world could shut down at any given second. Maybe I should try to chase dreams or whatever. No, no hard feelings. But I have really realized the value of self-producing and doing my own stuff recently. So I wrote a short film called INDOC that a friend, Wes Goodrich, directed, and we shot it this past summer in July, and we're now editing it and getting it ready, and shared it with a few folks. And yeah, I acted in it, wrote it, produced it, partially produced it. So yeah, that's what I've been up to recently.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how like so the way that you said, the acting industry it's nothing like I thought it was going to be when we graduated.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to be one of those actors that like goes on a couple auditions and then books a show and then like I'm working from then on. Like,
I think everybody does. I think everybody
believes they're going to be the one.
Yeah.
I'm grateful now, I think, that I wasn't, because I don't know who I'd be if I like reached that kind of success at that age and then like didn't try all the things I've had to try and struggle the way I've had to struggle between now and then to like learn how to be comfortable building something.
Yeah.
But I do find it funny that like, all right, so COVID happens, the strike happens, all social media has very much sort of parasitically infiltrated the industry and turned it into something. And
that's a very new development. It's like all in the last 3 to 4 or 5 years,
Really kind of since COVID, did it turn into a thing where like people were looking at what following count you had to have on social media. Yeah. But it's funny how like, so that maybe the despair and the depression and the stagnancy that was going on during that period of time like brought people into this industry to feel like they could be more creatively fulfilled. But also the state of the world for our age group and what the future looks like and the sort of uncertainty that you have in any industry, giving your life to some company for like 45 years and then getting fired before you're pension, and then like you lose everything you've invested in 45 years, and now you're starting over again at 60. Like all these things are uncertain. I can't afford a house. I can hardly afford groceries. Like all those things. And so people are kind of getting into this place of like, well, fuck it. Like I'm just going to do what makes me happy now.
Yeah.
Because I have there's nothing to invest in that I can actually trust, you know? And I think that that's had a lot to do with so many people, especially in our age group, like joining the arts in some capacity.
Yeah. Like a bunch of people who, I remember I met this guy at, the screening of like a short film I was in. I met him afterwards, and he got his undergraduate degree in like biochemistry or something like that.
Whoa.
And I don't know if it was directly correlated with COVID, but it was around that time. And it's not like, I think for a long time, young people have felt kind of ambivalent about the future and uncertain about what their 60s and 70s are going to look like. And he had this degree, and he just had this epiphany where he's like, yeah, I want to be an actor. I want to study. I want to be an artist. I want to live that life. Even though he had never done somebody's really
cool guy.
That's a cool guy.
It's a cool guy.
No, but yeah, it's like exactly what you're talking about, that he realized life was going to keep going and he was not going to be fulfilled in this life. And so, yeah, I think that has happened with a lot of people, that they want to be a part of this, and I get it. Me too,
dude. I mean, I'm so glad that I'm living life the way that I am. I mean, the whole like if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere thing in New York City, whatever, all that crap. Like it's not untrue, and it's very like this city is gross, and it is hard to live in. It's really depressing. You have to like shut off your empathy just to walk outside, or you're not going to get through a day without falling apart at someone else's circumstances. Yeah. And still you do it because the energy and the ambition and the pulse is addictive, and you get in this space where like, if I just go outside, something exciting or interesting is bound to happen no matter what in a place like this.
It certainly could.
Know?
Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much does every time. I feel. I mean, nothing. Not work.
Maybe I just live a more boring day-to-day life than you.
Maybe.
I mean, sometimes I just go walk to the gym.
Get excited about dumb shit.
No.
I'm like, that was the most exciting thing that ever happened. It's like some kid dropped a banana and it landed and stood straight up, and I was like, wow, that's so cool.
My god. No, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think that's kind of the cool part about. You know, because there's always this argument about LA and New York, and we can, get into this, but I think part of the appeal of living in New York is that you are really in close quarters with everybody, and that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. But when it's good, it's really good, because you're just like you can't help but be witness to so many cool things if you're looking for it,
Yeah, I mean, I think too that like as an artist, and I feel like you're the same way here, but, and I've probably said this on one of the other episodes, but I've always had a problem with people that like view themselves as like, I was born to be X. Like, I was born to be an actor. Yeah. Like, this is what I was meant to do, and if I don't do this, then I'm not fulfilling my purpose in life or whatever. Yeah. And you open it. My thought has always been like, you weren't born to be anything in particular. Mm-hmm. This industry, if it never existed, if it never developed, you would have been born, and you still would have had to find something to do to call fulfilling, and you'd be fine. And a lot of people are born and don't get to do the thing that they want to do, and they still whatever. So you have to ground yourself in the things that are fulfilling, regardless of what the world could possibly look like. And for me, it's always been people, which is why I love the city. Yeah. And I love the crazy fucking people that you meet every day and whatever. But I do think that like the recipe for failure and depression and like stagnancy in any career is to hinge your self-worth and your personal identity like on your success in a career. Like it's irrelevant to who you are, you know?
Yeah.
And too many people do that. And I see that a lot in LA, which is why I like New York.
Oh, it's rampant in LA. I mean, with actors in general, I think have a really hard time with basing their success on their creative output. And I think all artists do, but the problem with actors is that typically speaking, your creative output as an actor is entirely dependent on other people. It's entirely dependent on a casting director saying, yeah, them. A director saying them. An agent saying, I want to sign you and give you auditions. Or so I think it's hard not to feel like a failure as an actor a lot of the times, because even if you book once in a year, which is like, objectively in this ecosystem very good, you're still getting rejected 100, 200 other times, or you're not getting auditions at all. Yeah. And that sucks in and of its own, and so yeah, there's so much room for you to despair in that life.
Yeah, well, there's so much space for you to feel like you're not, again, like you're not doing the thing that you've defined yourself as the person who does that thing, and you don't do that thing. So like, that's why I decided to start doing art like more seriously. The painting and all that stuff was because I didn't want to be sitting around with my hands in my lap, like waiting for an opportunity to do the thing I love. And as an actor, like you said, it's one of the only art forms that you can't do, in the privacy of your own home.
Well, you're like a true multidisciplinary artist right now. Don't shrug it off.
Thank you.
I mean, you're a tremendous actor. You're a tremendous painter. You're like a voiceover artist. You're a podcaster. You do all this. You've written poetry a good amount, which I would like to see more of. I feel like you used to do way more of it.
I still do it a lot. I don't
you used to like
share it that often. I used to do those like animated, sort of like 2D animated videos of my poems.
But I feel like you more than anybody I know has found it's really like admirable. Like I mean that to be able to express yourself no matter what's going on, and you are dictating the terms of your own creativity.
Thank you. I mean, I think to me it's very much like I very much view art as like, there's no such thing as like being an actor or being a dancer or being a painter. I made this mistake my entire childhood, all through high school and middle school. I started acting and like really wanting to be an actor when I was like 8. So like I was doing plays and I was and all the things, and so I had these decisions to make when I was younger where it was like, oh, you want to take this dance class? And I was like, I'm an actor, I'm not a dancer.
Yeah.
And then I would define myself, do you want to like play basketball? And I was like, I could play basketball, but like I'm an actor. Yeah. And then it was, do you want to like go deeper into singing and take singing lessons and learn an instrument? And I was like, I'm not really a musician, I'm an actor. I'm not a singer, I'm an actor. And then I had this like awakening at some point where I was like, what am I doing? Like I'm like pre-limiting myself by telling myself that I'm putting myself in this category.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it kind of was just impressed upon me that like if you pick a thing, like that's what you do. And at one point, I just kind of decided like, well, that's stupid. I think that acting, dancing, singing, writing, poetry, music, all of the different art forms, they're all just like different filters through which you exercise that thing. And so like you can use any of them if you want, and you don't even have to be good at it. Like I make like wallets and whittle just because I get
those rock.
What?
But those rock.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to make shit that like is useful to people because people don't really buy my canvases as much as I want them to. So I'm like, well, maybe you'll buy a bottle opener or it's like a handmade bottle opener.
Maybe you'll buy a shelf or something.
Something functional. Yeah. Like I'll make those things.
I could see you being like a wood carver.
I would love in another life or maybe in my next life. And by my next life, I mean like 10 years from now when acting really doesn't cut it and I have like 2 kids and a wife. Maybe I'll go into like just solid carpentry and woodworking and just make cool stuff.
Could be cool.
But yeah, I mean, I think that anyone who defines themselves by any kind of art is limiting their own, like just purely through their vocabulary. They're limiting how the world can see them because they're boxing in how they see themselves, or at least how they share themselves. And I think that that's not useful.
Well, I think it 100% agree that people do that and it's not useful. I do think it's informed by the world they see around them by people who aren't artists, you know. I think you examine through everyday life that people very much identify themselves by their jobs. Like, what's the first question you usually ask somebody?
Oh yeah, what do you do?
When you meet them? What's your name? What do you do?
Yeah.
And I think in American culture especially, that's the norm. And whether or not you're like a welder or lawyer, usually you lead with that. And if somebody asks you, well, okay, you're a welder. Do you work with like, you know, anything else? Like, do you do
commercial welding?
Yeah.
Are you
and
a
it's like,
sculptor?
nope. I'm this. I do this or I do that. And I think as a kid, especially, it's tempting to be, no, I'm an actor. I'm a singer. I sing. And I think also there's, when you're young, you're going through like high school. It's like, am I a musical theater kid? Am I like whatever that is? But it's true that I think
groups.
yeah. But I think what you're speaking to is like there's a current of creativity and like art happening at all times, and there's different wavelengths in this current, but I think they're all part of the same current, right? There's like acting, music, and it's all kind of, they're built on top of each other and with each other, and you just hop through all of them.
Well, I think so. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think also that, you know, I've spent a long time, probably up until our last attempt at this episode. I think I might have even have said it then, where I question the value of being an actor, an artist, a performer, whatever, because I've always sort of battled with this idea, like, is it very self-indulgent? Am I just trying to like live a fulfilling life for myself and like be creatively fulfilled, but the world is falling apart? And like, should I play a larger role? Should I get involved in politics? Should I like actually change something, be a firefighter, like do something that genuinely helps my immediate community every single day, day in and day out? Like Sarah, my for anyone who doesn't know Sarah,
you guys met her?
My wife. You know, she's an actor, but she's also a massage therapist, and the reason that she wanted to do that was because she gets immediate validation that she's helping somebody,
people.
like instantaneously. They get off the table and they say, "Wow, I feel so much better.
Yeah,
you really helped me." And of late, I've kind of sort of accepted this reality that, similar to a play, like everyone in society has a role to play, and mine happens to be, because of my skill sets, because of my interests, because of the communities I've found myself in, it happens to be sort of leading the charge for expression and allowing people who are really inhibited in their own expression to follow along and say like, oh, well, if he does it, then maybe I can do it. If he is posting a video, a poetry animated video about how he feels really depressed and stuck,
maybe somebody else will.
As a 29-year-old man,
or maybe
2 years ago, 31 now, as a 31-year-old man, maybe I can say those things to my wife, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's doing it publicly. He made a short film about like a really specific and important thing that's happening in our youth now. INDOC, I'm talking about. You know that. And so like if you put out a film like that and put your own heart out on the line, this thing that you wrote and produced and acted in, where you're playing a character that you in real life most likely despise, and you can put that out and say like, this is what it looks like to me in my world, then maybe some father who sees it can have that conversation with their young son who's in high school.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's the job.
Yeah. And I think I heard this term recently. It's called
quail.
It's not quibble. What?
I said quail. Never mind.
Quail?
Ignore it. Continue. I was being stupid.
Right. No, I don't know if it's like an official term or whatever, but this guy coined it trickle up culture, where historically speaking, major cultural shifts or even small cultural shifts have all started from lower class. He was talking specifically like lower class, but he was talking very much the artist class. That artists dictate how the culture goes, and even though it's measured more in like years and decades, obviously it's not like it's not a small sample. Like, oh, some artist does a fashion show, and all of a sudden everybody's wearing that. It takes time, but artists dictate how culture, what trends go, like where trends go over the course of decades and even centuries. And so I think there's real value in being an artist in that sense too, because I think we live in pretty turbulent like times, and I think it's important, and this is more specifically with INDOC, but I feel it's important to analyze the world as we see it and how we've experienced it emotionally. And I think there is real value in reflecting the world as you see it and sharing that vision with people. Even if it's just for people to acknowledge and take in slightly. Like, nobody has to be absorbed with INDOC and think it's the best thing ever for there to be value in it. You know what I mean?
But if it even falls into their zeitgeist, like it will seep in some small way. I think I look a lot, especially in today. It's such fast times. Like all these people, all these influencers, and I use that word. Obviously there's the negative connotation, or at least I view it as a negative connotation of influencer, but then there's also like influence, like people who really are influencing culture every day. And you look at a lot of them, and you think like, who are they that's so special that they're one of the people, other than the fact that they just decided that their voice matters. And so many.
Are you talking
people
like specifically like
us.
TikTok influencers or?
No, I'm talking about even like, I mean, this is a bad example, but it's just because we talked about it the other day. But like, I was looking at fucking Nick Fuentes the other day, and I was looking into him, and I was like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
And I've heard his name so many times over the last like 3 years, and I didn't know who he was. I never looked into him, but he did something with someone that I peripherally follow, and I was like, who is this guy? And I looked him up. He's 27 years old. And I was like, what? Who is this kid? And he's been doing it since he was like 20.
Yeah.
And he's built up this very tumultuous group of young people in this culture. And he doesn't have any insight that is special. He just has a megaphone and talks. And it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, all right, you say, I hear everything that you're saying. Mm-hmm. I disagree with like 99.9% of it. Mm-hmm. But you're saying it. And I'm sitting here disgusted with the words that are coming out of this 27-year-old's mouth.
Yeah.
And all these people are following this person. He's building up this movement. And I'm sitting here like, oh, what is the world coming to? Instead of thinking, well, I can say something too. Like, I also can say a thing, and my thing may not be any more right or wrong than your opinion about whatever you have, but your opinion's not more right or wrong than mine either. So if you're going to talk, then I'm going to fucking talk because I disagree with you. Yeah. And it's my responsibility as a member of the artist community to put out something that puts a stamp on like where I stand on this culture in this fast time. And maybe it disappears in 2 months, but maybe someone hears it, and maybe it develops someone else who's going to say something too. But if you say nothing and you just fall apart and say like, the world is terrible and I can't be a part of it anymore because everything is awful and these people exist and this bad person exists and bad things are happening over there, but I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to hate it. Then you're kind of falling short of your responsibility. You're not like living up to your hero's journey. Step up and like say the thing, do the thing.
Well, there's just I think people need, they're in the internet age, because everybody sees everything and we're kind of under this, you post something online and it's there forever, right? Yeah. So I think people, especially artists, they kind of feel, how do I want to put this? we didn't see Al Pacino's high school play.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't like a video of that. We didn't see him kind of like scraping, like learning how to be a good actor, or you know, whoever, Meryl Streep. We didn't see like Basquiat's early work. There's a part of being an artist in 2025 where you have to like shill for yourself and believe in yourself even before you might even feel you're ready to do it, right? Especially when
Yeah.
you're posting online. You know, if you're like, because if you're an actor, how are you going to get any more attention other than like relentlessly marketing yourself online?
Yeah.
Other than like hoping that you strike the gold of, you know,
Yeah.
hitting an
somebody
audition or whatever.
who matters sees
Or,
you.
yeah, or if you're a musician. I mean, musicians I feel like are fucked, especially because they just have to make songs and then try to hope it goes viral on TikTok to get signed. And there's just so much that's wrong with that environment. But there is just what you're talking about. Obviously, there's a far more important and you know, moral, ethical stance where you have to take. But even just the idea of getting in front of a camera or your phone and showing people your art, there's an element to it that is not the same as it was in the 70s or the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because you're immediately opening yourself up to criticism from people in fucking like Indonesia.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't even know that I could get
mostly bots.
yeah, mostly bots, and they're gonna call you stupid, and
They're
and
gonna say some things. that
yeah,
are not true.
and
you obese fuck, and you're like, you haven't even seen. I'm not.
yeah, but you know, like everything that you want is on the other side of embarrassment, you know.
But I think that's the whole shtick. Like that's what being an artist is saying I'm willing. I mean, you look at clown, you know, the fool in the jester in
Yeah.
you know, medieval times and whatever, and then clowns in Commedia dell'arte, or like anything as you go through, like the role of the artist is to embarrass themselves publicly, because when you embarrass yourself publicly, everyone says, wow, the bravery to do that. And
I can't believe you just said that. Wow.
yeah, you know, and it's it really is. I mean, one of the things that I like love stand-up comedy, because the bravery to be the first person or one of the only people to like come out and say, is nobody else looking at this or talking? Like, this is crazy, right? And everyone else is like, wow, I had that talk at the water cooler with my one friend, but like that guy just said it in front of the whole world.
Dude, that's another thing where to be successful as a stand-up comic in 2025 just requires relentless social media posting.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
But that's one of the reasons I find that I haven't been as successful as I would love to be as in any of the things that I do, is because I hate social media. Like I hate doing the slog of like I spent the last 3 days. I did a live painting at an auction on
very cool.
Saturday night, and Sarah was kind enough to come with me, and she took a lot of video while I was doing it and whatever, and it was an amazing experience. Today's what, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I spent from Sunday morning till today getting myself to edit together a 45-second long clip of me doing it, because I hate having to go back and like watch myself do the thing and then edit it together and then share it and be like, look at what I did, everybody.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite part of the whole project, you know?
Yeah, but if you don't share it, who else
Then
is
nobody
going
sees
to,
it.
you know?
Well, it's one of those things. I think Gianni actually said it when he was on this podcast. He said, you know, art doesn't exist in a vacuum, and it's not art if nobody sees it, because it's only half baked. Like the other half of art is the experience of the art for the viewer.
I think there is value in self-expression with art.
Yeah.
That like I think I totally understand what the point is being said. Like, so much of art is how other people interact with it, especially with something like painting.
Oh yeah.
And anything really. But I think there's art forms that are all about like psychological healing and expression through like painting and healing trauma that you have, and that's really just for you. Like I see what he's saying though, because obviously if you want to make a career as an artist.
Yeah.
The audience and other people are essential in that.
Yeah.
Which is, it's scary. The whole thing's scary. And I think also a big component of this is that so many great artists especially living in New York, man, it's so fucking expensive here. And it's so hard to prioritize making art and doing things that artists should do when you have bills to pay and you have a collapsing economy around you and you're and there used to be like really cheap apartments in New York, and that's kind of gone now, especially in like Manhattan. People were living on the Lower East Side, and Bob Dylan was in Greenwich Village, like paying like
$400 bucks, maybe $300 a month,
dude, if that.
Yeah,
in the 50s.
Yeah, true.
I mean, like $20 a month, and he could go
That's
around.
crazy.
He could go around and crash on somebody's couch for a night and sing at the fucking bitter end and go do shit. And there was a real community of artists that were able to be like true like working class people.
Yeah.
By just doing their art around the city, and they didn't have this oppressive world that demands they give all their paychecks away to rent.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a huge problem with today's artists, by and large with everybody, that they just don't have the time to devote to it because they're so caught in the machine.
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself like so lucky to even be able to pay my rent in this city as like a 75% of the time artist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To
Absolutely.
even be able to, I still work as a bartender and I work for a catering company. And I love them, and I have no shame about doing that, because that's what it takes to stay in this place and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I tried a real job, and for what I was gaining in stability and a salary and health insurance and whatever, I was losing in all of the time that I would normally give to something I am passionate about or care about, or time with my friends. I had to give to like traveling to random places to do this places, I was basically giving lectures to groups of salesmen about how to sell better, and it was the worst thing I've ever done. Like, it was, and I don't know how people do it every day. People like spend all of their time doing a thing that they hate with no goal in mind of like, all right, I'm going to do this till I can do this. And once I do this, I'm going to leave that so I can do this thing I love. Because a lot of people don't have a goal. Like, they don't have a thing that they want to do.
Yeah, well, I think they have, goals of retirement or whatever.
Well,
which, like, obviously everybody does, but
that the goal is I just want to stop doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or like they have a goal to travel and like do things and stuff like that. But, it's weird with when you're an artist or, specifically an actor, the goal is, how am I going to be able to do my art, create my art today, in the next week, in the next month? Like, what do I have to do to move forward to that? And for me, that just kind of has to be what the question that I'm always asking myself now. Because I produce INDOC. Now I want to try to do the next thing. I want to try to start I've talked with you about this, a weekly or bi-weekly thing where people can just bring in scenes and everybody kind of participates and pays for the space that we're in. That's the only cost. Everybody can just come in and do stuff. And maybe one week we do a play reading. Maybe another week everybody's doing whatever scene they want, or with coming in and working auditions. It's constantly just finding ways to keep doing that. Because I think just the way the industry is right now, there's no stability. There's no way to give yourself any stability if you're not going to create it for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I love about this city. Again, not to what is the word? To simp on New York. I don't know if that's the right word. I think that word's,
we're simping for New York
after our generation, but
no.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love New York, but I was just talking with a friend recently, incredible musician, incredible talent, great work ethic, but he moved to Nashville, and we were talking about how he's from New Jersey. He grew up in New Jersey and in New York, like spending all of his time in this part of the world or of the country, and he moved to Nashville to pursue music. But he said that the pace of Nashville is just so much slower, and it's so much harder to find people with the same ambition and the same motivation to get out and make something happen for themselves. And he said he's found himself slowing down, and he hates it. He's scared of it because he has New York pace in him,
energy,
and it doesn't jive with like where he is, and it's like stagnating, but from the outside, because he doesn't want that. So I'm ever grateful for the decision to live in this place, because I am constantly feeling, in a good way, less than, because I'm not working as hard as the people I admire that I know in my own personal circle. I need to get up and make shit happen in order to feel like I'm even keeping up with the people that I look up to.
Yeah.
And that is like a gift in this place.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people become successful in a place like this, because you need the constant competition. And it's not real competition. It's just like
it's
motivational
like,
competition.
Yeah. It's like presenting a yardstick to yourself and being
that's cool.
able
like
to
that.
see all these people doing other things. And I think there's, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong thing to say, but I think there's room for a little bit of jealousy for everything. I think people are allowed to feel a little jealous of where people are at, and
as
I don't
long
think
as they use the jealousy.
Yeah. I don't think anybody
well.
should stew in it and let it like dictate how they feel about other people and let it dictate how they feel about themselves. But I think it's okay to want to, have somebody's opportunities or whatever. But as long as that motivates you in a positive way and you're able to take that and run with it, that's where it is. Because I think a lot of people, I don't know, not that I know personally, but historically people can just let that jealousy consume them, and that becomes all that they are and all that they think about, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm talking about, but the idea that you can see other people and want to be where they are, or want to do something completely different than them, but just to have their life or an aspect of their life, or an aspect of their attitude, or an aspect of their demeanor. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, and because the things that you want are things that you can have.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things about creating your circle, creating the people, the people that you spend most of your time with, is that you have to be looking up to them in some way. There has to be something that they are great at that you are not.
Yeah.
That you could say, when I spend more time with you, I'm trying to be more like you in this way. And if you are surrounding yourself with people that you don't admire or look up to or want to be like, or are working to like be as good at A, B, or C as they are, then that's not a person you should be spending your time with. If you're pursuing,
certainly not exorbitant amounts of time,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's also just love.
Yeah. But I know what you're talking about with having, especially people that you spend a lot of time with.
Yeah,
I think there's aspects of it where there's aspects of people that you should always try to be absorbing, in a positive way. And can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because I asked myself this question. Maybe we've talked about this. If I were to tell you right now that you would never book another job from auditioning as an actor, and nobody was going to offer you a job auditioning, what do you think you would do?
If you were to tell me right now that I would never book,
You would never book another acting job. Nobody would ever offer you another acting job.
I would never
From an
book-
audition. So like nobody out there is going to give you the opportunity to act again. What would you do?
I think the first thing I would do is probably cry a little, and then the second thing I would do,
Everybody would cry. Yeah.
The second thing I would do, I think I would get together with some people who are better writers than me, make a project that I would consider potentially like my last hurrah.
Okay.
Like, this is my last chance to like do this thing I love, because it seems that I'm not going to get to do it otherwise. I would make a project that I get to act in and be deeply involved with. I would put it out, see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, I would pick a different art form.
Yeah.
And then just move on in a different. I would say, okay.
In a lot of ways, you're kind of the perfect person to ask that because you have so many other things you're good at. But I think what you're saying is you would say fuck it and just act anyway.
Yeah, I would just do it. I would do it myself.
You would do it for your own benefit.
I would do it. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean,
not your own benefit. That's the wrong way to word it.
Not well. No, I hear that, but I mean more so that like, I would make myself one last opportunity.
Yeah.
And if that opportunity didn't go well, then I would say, okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
But what does going well mean for you in that situation? Because no matter how well it goes, nobody's going to offer you anything.
No one's ever going to offer me another thing.
Yeah.
Oh well, then I would probably consider it my last hurrah. And then I would find another way to pay my bills.
But you would, yeah, of course.
And then I would do like community theater, or well, even then I have to audition. I guess I would just
professional job. So you let's say you
I would
could
do
still
like community theater, and I like to fulfill that thing.
So you still do it because you love it. Essentially,
yeah. I mean, it's the only
knowing
thing.
It wouldn't lead to like financial gain.
Yeah, no, I would
fame.
I would pivot fully. I would probably do like the carpentry thing,
yeah,
or go deeper into art. My dream right now, outside of like success as an actor, is to buy property with friends, subdivide it,
the commune,
create a little commune, raise our kids in the same little neighborhood. And then in town, buy or rent like a large studio space,
like a painting studio.
Cut it into two spaces. Sarah will have her massage therapy and yoga studio.
Oh fuck yeah!
And on the other side, I will have my art studio in the back and a gallery in the front. And I will put my own artwork up in the gallery when I want to, and I will find artists that I really like that are really excite me, and I would offer to put their artwork up in the gallery, and I would just run a gallery and have my art studio in there, and I would have a regular job and live on a commune with my friends.
Fair enough. So similar question: if somebody told you nobody's ever going to buy one of your paintings, would you still keep painting? Is there
yes and no? Yeah, not on canvas.
Oh yeah, let's take out the financial component of buying all these materials.
Yeah,
right?
I would still keep painting
because obviously that's a huge expense. But would you still keep up with art in some degree?
Oh yeah, I've never not done it. I've been doodling in the margins of my notebook since I was 4. Like I need to like create a visible representation of what I'm feeling. Like I have to in order to understand it or to get it out or to some people just need to move their body. Like they need to dance or they need to do whatever because it's how they get that shit out. If I didn't write poetry and draw and paint, I would go crazy. And I say it all the time that I don't do art because I love it.
Yeah.
I do art because if I didn't, I'd be a worse person. And I know that.
Well, I think that's the attitude you have to foster.
Yeah.
With everything that you do in an artistic career, in a creative career, because there's so much. It's so hard to have this dream and want to make money out of it, and you can't. And to their credit, they told us this in school, but you can't be doing this if you just want to be famous and have money because it's just not going to sustain you. It's not the idea that one day I'll make a lot of money from this is not going to be enough to keep you going in a rough, not even a rough patch, just a normal patch. And so I think for me, I asked myself that same question. If nobody was going to offer me a job acting ever again, and I would have to become fully reliant on myself to act, would I keep acting? And I really think I would. I don't think I would ever really stop. I would just I'd make fucking YouTube skits or whatever. If I had to, if that was the only option for me, I would do that. And so that's also kind of what pushed me to make INDOC and do stuff. Cause I was just I gotta fucking do stuff because this is in me.
Yeah.
And I have no other option. I'm not going to stop doing this just because I'm not making a ton of fucking money acting, you know?
Well, and I've been calling myself an actor for this long. And I haven't been acting for this long. And at what point do
Acting's
I
a
decide
state
that
of mind, man.
I'm
You're
lying?
You're an actor. You're an actor.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you
can't
mean,
call
yeah.
yourself a thing you're not doing, and if you're not doing it, then do it, or you shouldn't, or you're not, or you shouldn't call yourself it. Like,
I think it's
you can
how
do
I
it,
think
you're on
it's
your
how
own.
like a practicing doctor is always even if you had retired from the medical field, you're still a doctor. That's kind of how I feel
mean,
about it. Maybe
I
that's me
guess.
being way too fucking self-important. but I think if you have like dedicated a large amount of time to like being an actor and being an artist and whatever, like you're still an actor. You can't
I
judge
disagree.
yourself by.
I disagree.
But is that just because like, what's the time frame where you stop being an actor then?
I mean, I think that's personal to
Sure,
everyone.
no,
When
no.
you stop believing that you're telling the truth, like I think,
Sure.
because I'm a, and this is gonna sound maybe a little like woo woo or whatever, but I really think that like English language has fucked up our idea of what being a certain thing is. Like we define
Sure.
like love and happy and all of these adjectives and nouns that I think are actually verbs, that we use them in language as nouns and as adjectives, like to be happy.
Yeah.
But happiness is not an adjective. It's not. It's a verb.
Yeah.
You have to do
It's
happy.
something you do. Yeah.
You can't just be it's not a state of mind. It's not a thing that you can have. It's not stagnant. You can't hold it. It's
Yeah.
what's that thing of like if you try to hold water, like it's
Yeah,
gonna fall through
just
your, like
drifts
you have to do the thing, and if you're not doing the thing, then you are not the thing. In the same way that like you can't be in love if you're not contributing to love.
Yeah. Sure.
And to say like, oh, I'm in love with this person, it's like, well, how? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing to show that you are? Or are you just saying that a feeling you have is now a thing that everyone should believe about you?
I get what you mean.
You
I
know.
get what you mean.
So I think that in any kind of art form, like if you're not doing it, then you shouldn't call yourself it.
Yeah.
And it's not if you're not doing it professionally, or if you are, like that's irrelevant. If you're not doing it at all, like you're not a writer if you're not writing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like there has to be some kind of commitment to keeping it going and actually trying to create output to some degree. I know
Just
what you mean.
even for yourself.
Even for-
I mean,
yeah,
write,
yeah. It
Write
doesn't
in a
have to be.
notebook every morning, and you're a fucking writer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what is that thing? People always say, I don't know who it's attributed to. It's like, if you are writing,
Mm-hmm.
then you are already in the top 10% of writers, because 90% of writers don't write.
That's crazy to think about.
So if you're writing every day, you're in the top 1%, even if no one has even read it yet.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a little gymnast, and he's
Yeah.
clearly in love
I
with
agree.
you.
He is. He's a good guy.
Um,
Real quick.
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
use the bathroom real quick?
Of course.
I have to pee so bad.
We're pausing,
We're pausing.
and we're back.
We recording? All right.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with where you're going, where there has to be a kind of continual effort made towards being the thing that you want to be, or that you are. And that's where I think so much of being an actor, the problem is you rely on other people so much. So I think even if you're doing like a monologue every morning, I think it's actually more beneficial if you want to be an actor to like show up to like different like shows, like theater that's happening, like off Broadway stuff, where you can like kind of become part of a larger community. I think stuff like that is actually more important to being an actor.
Yeah, or
quote
take
unquote.
a class,
Take a
or
class.
join a improv class, or whatever it is that you want to
Yeah.
do. Join a group of friends that go and do little shows in the park.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you want to do. But if you want to be the thing, then do the thing.
Yeah,
And if you're not
there has
gonna-
to be. I
It
agree
takes
that
effort to be
There has to
something.
be like some kind of effort towards being that thing and creating this life that you want for yourself.
Yeah,
Because
and you
it's a
can say
lifestyle.
that you are, and if you've spent 40 years as an actor, and then you want to retire, like you haven't been working for a while, you could still say you're an actor. Sure, you have your laurels, you can rest on them.
Yeah.
But in your heart of hearts,
Mm.
are you now still that,
Mm.
or are you using your past to define your present?
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. but like, as long as you're satisfied and you feel fulfilled, then call yourself whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. But if you feel unfulfilled or you feel dissatisfied in what it is that you're doing, then turn the camera, turn the mirror back on yourself, and look and say like, well, am I dissatisfied because I'm lying? Am I dissatisfied because I'm saying I'm a thing that I know that I'm not, or that I'm pretending that I'm doing a thing that I know that I'm not? Like, you and I don't act a lot more than we do,
dude.
but I am an actor.
Yeah,
because everything that I do that's not acting is either character study, or it's paying the bills so that when I get the chance, I'm gonna crush it. Like, dude, I'm gonna do it.
I have this year, calendar year of 2025. I have and will be getting paid to act more than I ever have in my life, which is cool. But it's not even about that. But like the actual days that is counting up to where I'm actually acting, it's like 4 different projects.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 days where I'm like literally acting.
Yeah.
And doing the thing that I love and care about more than anything in the world. And
but it's the most you've ever done it.
But it's the most I've ever done it. Not like
professionally.
Professionally in because like obviously in high school I was doing
or even college, like I'm acting every day in class.
But in terms of where I am actually as an adult acting, it's like maybe 11, maybe 12 days.
Yeah.
And it's like that's it. Like that's awesome. And that's so much fun, and I love doing it. But what am I doing the other 347 days of the year? You know,
nice.
Is that it?
I don't know.
365 minus 12. 340.
353.
Oh yeah, 353. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
I forgive you. I was really excited about your math until we thought about it.
Until it was completely wrong.
I am not a mathematician.
I'm not either.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the same as for me. Like I've worked more this year as an actor than I have ever in my career.
Yeah. I mean, you work a lot, dude.
I work
comparatively
a lot.
speaking, you work a lot.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah, I'm very happy and I'm very grateful to do what I'm doing right now. But it's still like most days, today included, like my day today consisted of putting up a shelf, doing an audition, and kind of just futzing around. I made the bed, I did the dishes, I wandered around the apartment trying to make it like nicer. Yeah. And that's kind of what I did today. And that's kind of what half my days are every week. And my favorite thing, as someone who has like horrible ADHD, and as someone who is in a creative field, my favorite thing about it, and one of the hardest things about it, is that I have no consistency in my day-to-day, my week-to-week. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I don't know what I'm doing next month at all. I get a couple days where I'm working.
Yeah.
And that's great. Maybe like 4 or 5 days in the month where I'm like acting.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I'm just kind of trying to fill my days with things that matter. Like the gym is like the most consistent thing I do, and I only do that like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, so most of the time I'm trying to fill my time.
I mean, that's the bitch of it. It's like you really do have to be kind of, and this is I have to get better at this. Like you have to be really, really militant with yourself about setting a routine.
Did you have class in at Pace with Wendy Kurtzman?
No.
You didn't have that class?
No, I had that class, different teacher.
Okay.
With Maria Hubbard. Shout out Maria Hubbard. Love you.
Shout out Wendy Kurtzman. You're all right. But Wendy did this thing in class that I have never forgot about, and I have not applied it well even yet. And that was when I was like 21, 22, and now I'm 31.
Senior year, right?
Yeah, I think so. But it was the business of acting or whatever.
Yeah.
And she sat us down and drew out this paper, like this sort of boardroom, and she said, like, all right, in a business, in an actual company, these are the positions that are filled. Like there's the CEO, there's the CFO, there's the CTO, the COO, there's the PR person, there's the HR person, whatever. There's all these roles. As an actor, you are all of these roles. And if you don't break down your responsibilities in your day-to-day professional life into these categories, it's going to be hard for you to be successful. Because if you act like you're the CEO all the time, the responsibilities of the PR agent are not being done.
Yeah.
And if you step into the PR hat, put on your PR hat, and then you look across the way and you say like, all right, well, I need to be the COO today or for the next 3 hours. And I need to figure out all the operations that I need to do to make this work. And then how do I navigate what those operations are and how they're going to be like received by the public, become the PR person, and then go be the CFO. And like, how am I going to make enough money to be able to do these things? And it broke my brain in the best way. Cause I was like, you're so right. Like I am every part of the company.
You're running a
that is me.
business.
I'm running a business and the business is me and my product is me.
Yeah.
So how do I make that sustainable? And if I want to be the artist and wear the artist hat all the time, it's never going to get off the ground because I'm never going to look at the finances and I'm never going to break down my time and figure out how to implement all of the things I need to implement.
There's this podcast
artist.
I really like called Creative Risk.
Cool.
And a big portion of what they talk about is the actor as an entrepreneur and constantly they basically preach like business practices as an actor. Like you have to be thinking of yourself as a business, kind of in the sense that you're talking about. And it really is true. You know, you can't, the less organized you are, the harder it's going to be for like everything to happen. If you're not regimented in the way you wake up, the way you go to bed, the way you kind of spend your time during the day, it becomes harder to just to find time for an audition or to find time to cultivate like a relationship with somebody that you want to like work with or whatever it is, right? It's tough, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's probably one of my biggest hurdles is that reality, because I am so ADHD and I'm so
Are you on medication for it?
Yeah. I stopped for a really long time, and then I started again after like 7 or 8 years, because I was, and this is an ongoing journey for me to figure out like what it is that I want for myself. But I had a hard time. I was medicated for half of college. And then I had a conversation with Matt Humphreys. Shout out to Matt.
Shout out Matt.
One of the greatest teachers and mentors I've ever had. But I went to him and I said, I take Adderall. And as an actor who's like spending half my classes doing regular liberal arts classes, math and Spanish and whatever, computers, and then the other half of my classes are acting courses, I take an Adderall when I need to, so I can focus enough to get the shit done that I need to get done for my liberal arts classes. But then I go to my other class where I have to learn all my lines and study the scene and whatever and prepare so I can perform this scene tomorrow. But I'm on Adderall while I'm learning my lines and studying and doing all this stuff, breaking down my character, figuring out the emotional ties, my moment before, my objective, everything. And then the next day when I know I'm going to perform it in class, I don't take an Adderall because I want to be emotionally present, and Adderall kind of inhibits my emotionality.
Interesting.
So I won't take the Adderall for the performance. And then I go in and I feel like I'm disconnected from all the work I've done.
Yeah.
Because I did the work as like a different version of myself. I did the work while I was on this medication.
Wow.
And then I go in to perform it off the medication and I'm not the same person I was when I did the work. So now I'm not connected to it. And Matt gave me this advice where he said, if you want to try not being medicated and it's an absolute failure, like it doesn't work to not be medicated, wouldn't you prefer to get an F in a class than to get fired from a job? Like, you're in college right now. This is your safe space.
Yeah.
Try it. Try not taking this medication. And if it doesn't work, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a bad grade on a test. Like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, you're right. So I stopped taking it. And I stopped for about 7 or 8 years. Yeah. And then things life got more intense, and I am responsible for a lot more things, and I was getting engaged, and I have all these new bills, and I'm paying my rent, and I'm doing all these things and whatever. And I got to this point where I was like, I cannot keep track of my life without any help. Like I can't, my brain will not shut up. I spend every day trying to silence the 40 other thoughts that are innocuous so I can focus on the one thought that I'm trying to care about in this moment, and I can't do it. So I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to try medication again. I didn't take it today, but I do take it again now, and it's been, you know, I'm still figuring it out. Like, because I hate the idea that I have to take a medication in order to be myself, because I think that is kind of counterintuitive. Like, to have to take an external thing in order to be me feels like wrong in some way.
Well,
but,
I don't think it's like to be you. I think it's just to be a better version of you.
But better how? Like better in the sense that like
no, I don't
better
think
version
a better version of you probably is the wrong way to say it.
More functional in the society that
you
exists
with
today.
more ease.
Yeah, a less. Well, no, it's honestly it's a me that operates better in the society that I was born into or that I've grown up in. Like, there is no reason I can think of that everybody should fit into the puzzle that is today's society in America. We made this somewhat deliberately, somewhat haphazardly, mostly haphazardly, mostly just putting out fires as we're figuring out what the fuck this country is and what we're doing and how we interact with other, you know, it's all a mess. But we made it up and we're trying to figure it out. There's a lot of people in this country that don't fit into the puzzle. And they look at themselves as though there's something wrong with them because they don't fit. But they're not looking at the fact that maybe the manufacturer of the puzzle fucked up a little bit and not all the pieces match to the fucking picture. And that is expected when you're making it up. And so like the natural me, free of any kind of chemical intervention, doesn't quite fit functionally into the little niche of society that I have decided to partake in and want to be successful in. And so if I need help, I think that that's okay. But
Absolutely.
the reality is that like the real me couldn't be successful in the same way that I want to be in the way that society is now. And that sucks, but it's also just true, and you have to kind of accept that, you know, in the same way that someone who doesn't have legs can't walk upstairs. That's harsh.
Yeah, heard. All this to say, there is alienation for every single person in a modern society, especially with people who have ADHD or they're not neurotypical in the you know modern sense. But yeah, how did we get on this?
You asked if I was taking medication for my
Oh right,
ADHD.
well yeah, you said yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that like neurotypical, like yes, it's a very useful term, but it is entirely arbitrary based on what is most efficient in the society that we develop. That is what neurotypical is going to become.
I think that it's useful to examine something like ADHD and how it relates to being an artist, but also as an actor, because part of especially acting training and the rehearsal process of you know, if you were to do a play, and part of the rehearsal process is thinking about so much and keeping so many balls in the air at the same time and thinking, you know, oh, what's this character's relationship with his father like, and what's his favorite color, what's his favorite meal, how many times do I go to the gym, you know, whatever, right? There's so many things that you're supposed to be thinking about that if you have ADHD, it probably is impossible to like really kind of let all that go and then just kind of be in the moment at the same time. Like, you know, because that's what they say in like acting training. It's like, yeah, you do all this work, and then when you're on set, you let it go.
Yeah.
And then whatever comes up, comes up. And I think that's really useful advice, but it's got to be fucking impossible to connect to any kind of given circumstances.
Do you? Okay, I don't know if you had this assignment, but Brian Hastert, shout out to Brian.
Shout out Brian Hastert.
One of the OG creators of the program that we graduated from at Pace. He gave an assignment. I don't even remember exactly what the assignment was, but it had something. It was over Christmas break, after first semester,
Freshman year. Yeah.
freshman year, and it was to do like daily writing about yourself and about like how, you know, basically what your givens are in your actual life.
Yeah.
And all of that. And really, and he sent me a separate email because I asked him about it, and he sent me a separate email, and he said, Mickey, for you, your assignment is different. I want you to not think about it at all. I want you to just have a vacation and come back having not done that, because I was such an over analyzer of all of the givens, all the circumstances that my character may or may not be in. Absolutely not. Fisher, come here. Yeah, don't fuck with the wires.
You're an overthinker, and
Yeah, and he said, you know, I want you to just don't think about this at all while you're gone. And it was like an awakening moment. I was like, fuck yeah, that's great. Like, I don't have to do the homework.
yeah,
But what it really was Mickey, you work too hard in here,
yeah,
and I need you to like bring it into your body and stop trying so hard to analyze your character, because you're doing too much, and it really changed sort of how I approach a lot of the work that I do now.
yeah.
Because my instinct is to do too much. But then it gets trapped in my head and it doesn't ever fall into my body.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yesterday I actually had this like realization, for the 1000th time probably. I had this realization that I do not give nearly enough time and focus and effort to my body, in the sense that my identity, my me, lives somewhere up here, and then I tell my body what to do so I can have what I want, and I make my body do what it needs to do so I can have the things that I want to have and do the things I want to do. But I don't listen to my body as though it's also me. You know? And I think, you know, so often I think, wow, like I should really stretch. And then I don't. And it's and that's like a microcosm of you know, of an example of like my body's screaming for love and respect. And I get annoyed by it. I'm like, I don't want to.
Well, how do you think that manifests in like any kind of day-to-day situation?
Mostly it's like diet, drinking enough water, like eating properly.
Yeah.
Like so often I'll be like, like I think I'm hungry, like I'm a little low on fuel and I probably should eat, but like I don't have the time to like make a meal. So I'm going to like eat this Cliff Bar, and then I'm going to move on and not think about it. And then you get comfortable with like the feeling of being a little hungry, and you're like, wow, I feel like that's fine. Like I can get through that.
I can
whatever.
get through.
But what I'm really doing is like revving the engine. I'm like fucking gas on the pedal the whole way. My body's like, hey, I don't operate like that. And I'm saying, well, shut up.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Dude,
You do until you can't.
I had a,
You know?
I had a, not quite in the same way, but definitely in it. I over the last like 3 years, I've been going to the gym probably like 6 days a week.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, which was, you know, part of it was just like a habit. I just wanted to go, but for the first time in a really long time, I woke up early and I got some work done. I went to go get ready to the gym, and I like really kind of sat with myself and I was like, I am so exhausted right now. Like my body, like if I went to the gym, I would just literally be going through the motions and just not able to really put forth the effort at all. And I just like kind of sat back and I was like, okay, I think I just need to like go back to bed and just sleep for a little while. It was like a Saturday morning or whatever. And since that day, I will go like maybe 4 times a week, 3 days mostly, but 4 days a week. And I'm finding I have so much more energy on a day-to-day basis. In the gym, it's way more productive. I feel like I'm lifting heavier. I'm able to like focus on goals better. And just generally, I'm able to kind of read my body more clearly about the idea that I'm able to see how I am making myself tired.
Yeah.
And I know it's not exactly what you're talking about, but it feels very similar.
It is. You're not because you decide you want a thing. And
Yeah,
then
I
you
think I just
make
had in my
yourself
mind that
do
it's
it.
like, yeah, I'm going to be the guy that works out almost every day a week.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I need more rest.
Well, one of the things that I admire so much about Sarah, to bring it full circle, married wife, here it is that she, she's a massage therapist and she teaches yoga.
Yeah.
So she's in a yoga studio 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's not in a yoga studio, she's working on either someone else's body or like studying to work on someone's body.
Yeah.
And so her focus ping pong ball. Her focus is always on this, like what her body needs and what someone else's body needs and what she can give to someone's body and what kind of relief someone's body can receive based on how they interact with this hour that she provides for them. And I don't do that. Did it just die?
Still going? Oh, yeah, it died.
Motherfucker. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna finish this podcast before another battery dies. Where were we? What were we talking about?
Fuck it, man. I don't fucking know.
This is just gonna be another. We're just gonna pivot really quick again.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
Move
Yeah.
on. Oh, we were talking about the connection to body and the prioritization of body and Sarah and
Oh,
yoga
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that- and all those things.
Yeah, all good stuff. Well, I think it's just a interesting thing as I'm getting older that I agree. I am becoming more aware of the effect that feeling good in my body has on the rest of my day at large. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and just like acknowledging your own. It's weird to say at 31, but like acknowledging your own mortality. Yeah, like, and I say this with the perspective of marriage. Like I said in the beginning, like this idea of having somebody who is committing their life to you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I said in our vows is like I vow to take care of you and to take care of myself for you. And the weight of that responsibility has been sitting on me in the last week and a half since I said it.
Yeah.
Just the idea that like, oh, I'm not just mine anymore. Like I belong to somebody, and when we have kids, I will belong to them, and my responsibility to take care of myself is way more important suddenly because people need me.
Yeah.
And I've committed to them. And so yeah, like this idea of like being disconnected to my body has really been sitting with me of like I owe it to myself and to Sarah and to our future kids to take this seriously, because you don't really get another chance,
As far as we know.
as far as we know, you don't get another chance. but it is like a very exciting new challenge, and I feel somewhat ready.
Dude,
These cats, man.
Dude, this cat's going crazy with his ping pong ball.
Yeah, I feel somewhat ready, but very willing.
Yeah.
We
We brought it full circle.
brought it full circle.
We did.
Yeah. What is art other than taking care of
your
yourself
body.
for the people that you love?
Kinda. Yeah.
If I could do only one thing in my life, kind of like the question that you said, like if you if you could never act again, like what would you do?
If you knew you're never gonna get offered and paid to act again.
Yeah, to me, it's very much like my priority is not my art. You know, and I love my art, and it's what makes me happy, and it's what makes me feel fulfilled right now, or up until this point in my life. But I think what it really always has been, and the way that I have sort of, not unconsciously, but like maybe not directly, the way that I've sort of prioritized my life has never really been my art or my craft or my job. It's always been my friends and my family and the people in my life, the relationships that I have. They're the most important things that I have in my life. I care more about them than any job I could ever do, or any painting I could ever paint, or scene I could ever act. Like I care so much less about that than I do about maintaining this community of people that I love and that love me. They're my big lifelong art project, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of the real art.
That's a very nice note to end on. That's very sweet. I don't even want to add anything to that. It's very nice.
Yeah, you don't have to. Well, do you want to say anything about
No, yeah.
you, where we can find INDOC soon?
Yeah,
where we can find you?
We're still going through the editing process and, like, you know, submitting to festivals soon. But if you follow me at Ryan Odell, RyanNNODELL, 2 N's, on IG, I'll be posting updates. It'll be available soonish for people to watch. So yeah. Thank you for having me on, man. I love you.
Dude, I fucking love you.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, this is episode something of Art is Not Sacred, and if you're watching this all the way until now, you know everything we said. So
Thank you.
there it is. Love you guys. And I love you.
Love you.
See ya.
Bye.